So you decided that you wanted to start a Warframe. The game seems pretty interesting, the gunplay, the movement, the game itself seems quite interesting to you, and you decided you want to try it. Now, you might be waiting and already made an account and everything, and now you're inside of the game and you have one of two options, the Duviri Path or the Warframe path. Now, if you're not informed, maybe you don't know, a lot of us, actually all of us, before the Duviri Paradox update only had one option, and that was the Warframe quest. That's how every single player started off Warframe before the Duviri Paradox. Now that we have two options, me, your lovely host, the Gaming Weasel, made a new account and spent 3 hours basically running through the whole of the beginning game, making it easier for you guys, the new players, to figure out which path do you want to take. So in today's video, basically what I will be explaining is which one to choose. Which one do I think is better for you as a new player? What do you actually get? What are the rewards, the weapons, the mods? What do you get by doing each one? Now, keep in mind, sooner or later, these paths will, of course, meet at the end. It doesn't matter which one you choose, you're gonna do both of them nonetheless. But there is a little bit of a twist with the Duviri Path, and I'll explain that in just a little bit. If, of course, you enjoyed the video, do leave a like and a subscribe. This took me a pretty long while just to play the game and then edit all of this out, and hopefully you guys appreciate the hard work that I put into this video. And if I do stutter a little bit, I'm gonna be trying to make this in one go. So let's talk about the olden way that we all did, of course, and started Warframe, which is the Warframe quest. So basically what happens is you get introduced to 3 Warframes through this cinematic, and of course you get the choice of 3 Warframes. Excalibur, which is the swordsman of the bunch, he basically has an energy sword and also has a lot of damage potential. Then we have, of course, Mag, which is sort of the magnetic Warframe, crowd controlling Warframe, allowing you to strip armor and damage a lot of enemies. And then we have Volt, which is sort of a mix-up of both of them. He does damage and he also really crowd controls really well. The Warframe that I picked was Volt because I usually picked Excalibur, and Volt seems like a good option, is a good option for players that want to have a little bit of a safety further down the line. Now, you start off basically killing all of the Grineer, which is the enemy faction, and then picking up weapons slowly. First your melee weapon, the one that I picked is the Skana, then your secondary, and basically learning how the movement and the gunplay and also the weapons work out in Warframe. Later down the line you will fight this bad guy called Vor, and then of course you will unlock your primary. And then, of course, you enter your ship and then you skedaddle and get out of there. Then, you need to collect a couple of modules to make your ship functional. Now, you need to collect, first of all, the comm segment, which is pretty easy to collect. These missions are not a realistic representation of missions that you're actually going to be playing. These are basically small little quest missions. And once you collect the comm segment, of course, you're going to have chat and also communication with just everything basically, so chat, I guess. And then, of course, the next segment that you're going to be unlocking is the mod segment, which is, of course, going to allow you to modify your weapons and your Warframes as well. Keep in mind, through completing these missions, you're going to be getting mods throughout the gameplay. Now, you're going to be getting flawed mods, which are basically downgraded variants of the original mods, which I'm personally not a big fan of. I don't think these mods are needed because they have a small degradation compared to the normal ones, but nonetheless, you get some really good mods. Now, keep in mind, the weapons and Warframes that you pick, you will keep forever, and every single weapon in Warframe has a level 30 cap, so whilst you're playing with them, you're going to be leveling them up as well. Then, the next one is going to be, of course, the Foundry segment, allowing you to craft the new weapons, new Warframes, new items that you get whilst playing the game. And then, last but not least, the Navigation segment, which will, of course, unlock navigation, exploration, unlock the different planets and nodes on those planets, and here you will have an option, and actually not an option, sort of a mandatory thing, to get that Ascaris off of you, to not let the war control you anymore. And then what you do basically is go locate the war, defeat him, and you are pretty much free to do whatever you possibly want in the game. Now, you will notice that there is a mastery rank test appearing occasionally on the screen. It's in the top left corner. This is basically your account level. The higher mastery rank you are, the better it is gonna be for you. Of course, mastery rank is something that is going to be very good for trading as well, because each mastery rank you unlock some new little things, new equipment as well, and the higher you are, the better equipment you can have. But let's stick to the main topic. Now, once you complete the quest, you're not going to get a lot of items. The best things that you're possibly gonna get is the actual mods themselves. These mods are gonna help you start off the game, and all of these segments are pretty much needed for you to actually play the game. Of course, more segments will be unlocked further down the line, but for now, these are the segments that you have. Honestly, pretty much they're okay. I liked it when I started playing off Warframe. I've never liked the flawed mods, because you're gonna get the better variants around 20 minutes or 30 minutes after that, so it doesn't really matter, but I guess it's cool to have. Now, of course, mod capacity is very important, so that's why they're there, because you don't have a lot of mod capacity, of course, until you rank up your Warframes and weapons, which, as I said, you unlock just by playing with them, killing stuff with them, and so on and so forth. So, this took me around, I think, let's say 45 to 50 minutes to complete the whole thing. Now, keep in mind, my movement is faster than yours because I play Warframe a lot, so keep that in mind. This is gonna take you probably an hour and like 20 minutes, somewhere around there, which isn't that bad. Honestly, you're gonna have to complete this anyway, so it's pretty okay for what it is. Now, let's move on to the Duviri experience. And now, I'm gonna try to spoil as little as I possibly can here, so keep that in mind. If there is a spoiler, I will try to put a spoiler warning somewhere on the screen, just so you know. Now, let's start off with basically the Drifter. The Drifter is sort of not the Warframe, but the body inside of the Warframe. There's also another character called the Operator. I'm not gonna spoil anything about that, but the Drifter is basically going to be inside of the Duviri Paradox, which is of course a paradox. I mean, it's in the name. And this segment is mostly focused on Drifter gameplay, so melee gameplay, of course, going inside of the Duviri experience as well, playing this sort of a semi-open world, actually open world, and killing these special units. Now, how is this gonna start off? Well, it's gonna start off like any other paradox. You're probably much going to be dying over and over again, not in the sense just through cutscenes, and then you're gonna escape the paradox through a little bit of astrological help, and then you basically escape. You meet this certain person inside of a cave, which is gonna help you, give you melee weapons, of course teach you how to use them, which of course everything's gonna be put on the screen so you can see it. And of course, once you learn sort of the basics, your abilities that you have 4 of them. You have of course Keith, which is your horse that you can call, second is navigation, third is health stem, and then 4 a smoke screen. And these units are not that hard to kill. I mean, the melee can represent somewhere of, like Elden Ring, but much simpler and easier. But nonetheless, I just button mash like a crazy person, so it's gonna be pretty easy to kill the enemies nonetheless. Now, what's gonna be the main point here is, of course, you're gonna be collecting pieces to this certain doll. Now, you're gonna be doing sort of bounties, as they're called. You're gonna be doing 6 stages inside of these bounties. Some are gonna be going on in the Undercroft, which is Warframe gameplay. Now, mostly 90% of the gameplay is going to be done with your Drifter. The 10% is in the Undercroft, which is sort of the filthy underbelly of the Duviri Paradox, which is going to be done with your Warframe and your Warframe's abilities. I personally chose Mag in this situation because Mag is honestly incredibly good here inside of this Duviri quest, so that is just my personal preference. Now, the weapons that you get in the Undercroft, you do not keep. Neither do you keep the Warframe, so keep that in mind. So it doesn't really matter what you pick, you're not gonna have it at the end nonetheless. So you're gonna have these 6 bounties. After these 6 bounties, you're gonna collect 1 piece of the doll. You need to collect 3, and then the 4th stage is going to be something spoilerish, so I'm not gonna put any gameplay of it, but it's gonna take you a decent time to actually complete this. Collect all 3 parts of that doll, and then collect the 4th part, and when you collect the 4th part, you're sort of at the end. Once you complete this, basically at that point, you're gonna be, I guess, put out of the Duviri Paradox. You have a choice. Do you want to move on to the worst prize quest, or do you want to actually go on and play even more Duviri Paradox? Now, let's start off with the good side of this. First of all, if you stay in the Duviri Paradox, it's going to be pretty okay. You're going to basically continue what you already did. Now, the bad side is, I guess you could call it the bad side, is you are going to have to be prepared. If you're going to choose the worst prize quest, keep in mind you're gonna need another hour and a half of your time, because if you do leave, I'm pretty sure, like 99% sure, your progress is gonna be lost. So I spent basically 3 hours, because what I did is I started off the Duviri experience and then I automatically went and played the worst prize quest. So it basically took me 3 hours to complete everything, because I'm quite slow in the Duviri Paradox, because it's even new to me. So basically, I prefer playing the Duviri Paradox. I recommend you do for a couple of reasons. First of all, you're going to be gaining something called intrinsics. Now, each time you complete a stage of a bounty, you get a certain amount of intrinsics, ranging from 3 to 6. Also, as a reward, you get 20, which of course unlocks Keith for you, the horsey, which is pretty amazing. But getting these intrinsics is incredibly good for one reason. First of all, later down the line, when you will have to play and want to play the Duviri experience or something called the circuit, which is Warframe exclusive gameplay for really incredibly good weapons, you want to have intrinsics, better choices, better weapons, of course upgrade your drifter, and so on and so forth. Also, intrinsics are incredibly easy and good to get because they increase your mastery rank, and of course increasing them early on is going to be much better for you, because the sooner you can get to a decent mastery rank level as a new player, the better it's going to be for you, because you're going to unlock better and cooler weapons, and you don't have to spend credits or resources to increase your mastery rank. All you have to do is just play. Now, you also get the Sun and Moon melee weapon, of course from our good friend inside of the cave, which you should probably learn the name of by now, but that is a decent weapon for new players. It is a new player oriented weapon. You don't need a lot of resources. They're scattered around in the Duviri experience, plants, items and stuff like that. As long as you see something glowing, definitely pick it up in the Duviri Paradox or the Undercroft as well. You will see me pick up runic marrow, which spawns around the Undercroft, so collect those as well. That is also another cool thing. Now, the other really cool thing is, later down the line, when you start playing the circuit, which is of course, as I said, Warframe exclusive gameplay, here, once you get in something called the Steel Path, you can get a lot of resources already ready for those incredibly good weapons. If not, you can even get different Warframes in the circuit, because, of course, you have, I guess, the normal reward pool, which unlocks a certain Warframe depending on the rotation that week. So basically, you might be hearing this and saying, oh my god, the Duviri experience is actually really good. For me, listen, it's incredibly tedious for me, because the first time that I played it, it was really good because I followed the story and everything. Here, it was quite tedious to do because it lasted for an hour and a half and it was incredibly tedious. But nonetheless, trust me, choosing the Duviri experience is, in my opinion, the better option as a new player. You're gonna have to do the Worst Prize quest anyway right after it, because you can't play regular Warframe gameplay that you maybe saw on the trailer or something like that unless you complete the Worst Prize quest. With this, you hit 2 birds with 1 stone. You take 3 hours, you know, get yourself a little bit of snacks, you know, eat something beforehand, get yourself some soda, and then basically, you know, make 3 hours to play the Duviri experience and the Worst Prize, and you pretty much kill 2 birds with 1 stone. You're going to be gaining resources, you're going to be gaining a lot of stuff, and it's going to be incredibly easy further down the line. So, to sum this all up, of course, I prefer the Duviri experience and I recommend the Duviri experience for newer players. It really all depends on you. If you think that 3 hours is really tedious, of course, go play the worst price quest and then later down the line do the Duviri experience. Keep in mind some of the things you will not understand in the Duviri experience because some things correlate with different quests, but that is not the issue. Reward wise and future proofing wise, definitely the Duviri experience. So this has been me. I really am interested in the comment section below. Leave down. I really want to hear what you guys picked or want to pick or think is better. I hope you guys enjoyed. This has been your lovely host, the Gaming Weasel. Do leave a like and a subscribe if you enjoyed this, and I will see you guys on the next one. This has been the Gaming Weasel, over and out.